Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Troubleshooters Podcast, episode 4. I'm really excited about today because we're going to discuss entrepreneurship and physiotherapy with one of my friends. Our guest today is Meghali, or as many call her Meg. Meg is a consultant physiotherapist with experience working in India and the UK. She holds a master's degree in cardiorespiratory and ICU management. Her special interests are in sports and musculoskeletal injuries. She conducts workshops and seminars for corporates and universities at home and abroad. Meg and I met over 5 years ago when I had started working for Fortis in India. You know that feeling when work is fun because of that one colleague? Meg was that person. So I was really excited when Meg decided to start her own venture with a partner based in the US. They truly have a global presence now. So, to begin with, Meg, could you tell us more about ePhysios, how it started, and how you have grown during the pandemic? And most importantly, the challenges you faced because you're an online provider of physiotherapy, which wasn't always online before.
Thank you, Anjali. That was a very grand introduction. And yeah, it was really fun working with you in Fortis. And I think we have created a lot of memories, haven't we?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And thank you for inviting me. Yeah, ePhysio. So ePhysio is a complete online platform. And our vision is to provide really high quality, evidence based physiotherapy treatment across the globe. Okay, so our mission is what we want is to empower everybody to take control of their own health, because what we believe is that if you educate people, they should be able to take control of their own health. So that is what is our goal. And what we want to do is do it by spreading awareness program, and not only to bigger corporations, but we want to reach those remote rural areas as well, where healthcare is inaccessible. But healthcare is inaccessible, but internet is accessible.
Yes.
So that is where what we are trying, and working in India and then coming and working in the UK, and my colleague, my partner who works in US, we do feel that the work culture or the work is different. Here we are given more ownership than how much you were given in India. So that is what we are trying to spread, and not only to patients, but also to our fellow colleagues, physios in India. So that's our goal. We started in 2020 during the pandemic, and how it started is during the lockdown, we were contacted by a lot of patients, friends, family who were like trying to talk to us about how they can manage their ongoing physiotherapy or any health related problems because of work from home, started having neck back pain, and we started helping our friends and family with exercises, advice. And then when we both started talking about it, we thought that why not address the bigger population, because we do. I think every physio loves talking and giving advice, which sometimes we should stop, but then that's what we do. So that's is how we started. And over the last 1 year, actually, we have been able to rehabilitate a lot of musculoskeletal sports injuries through online platform, because again we educate the patients and we give them control, do it their way. And we spend a lot of time in assessment, in understanding their goals, what they want to achieve. Like for a person like you do a lot of yoga, pilates, so a dance. So for you want to go back to dance, but for somebody who just does their normal 9 to 5 job, they just want no pain while working, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I think what our what do you say, how we approach is that asking you a lot of questions and then working around you, rather than me telling that no, this is not right, you should do it this way. So it has really helped. It has definitely helped, and that is why we have conducted some workshops, webinars for university students as well. And we have students now who come back to ask asking for doubts, which means that it has definitely
Yeah.
helped. And
And just
challenges.
challenges as well, yeah, because when you've started a new business, there's always going to be some challenge. What was the challenges you faced?
I think the biggest challenge is lack of awareness and trust. and acceptance. Because obviously physiotherapy, a bigger population compare physiotherapy to be massage,
Mm.
isn't it? So hands-on. And when we were in university, we were told that, like, physiotherapists have magical hands and all these things. So that stigma is there. And that was like, how can you give online treatment? And then you use the word treatment. Treatment means more of like, hands-on. So uh, it was challenging to educate people. And we had, how we started is we used to give free consultations, and then we would have people taking advice, but then going back and trying face to face with someone. But the way how some of physios work didn't work with them, and these patients did come back to us, but it's just a circle. And that did, what happened is that it helped us in actually remodeling our business structure as well, our goals. And we started focusing more of like, not only providing service, but providing awareness. Like, you don't really have to go to your general practitioner for a shoulder pain. You actually need to consult a physio. Without medication, they can make you feel better. Obviously it has to be different conditions, we diagnose it or we assess it, then we know it. But then it's just that. And we are still working on that. And I think word of mouth
Yeah.
and patients feedback do help, and we make sure that we get our patients to give some feedback how it has helped in their
I completely
circumstances.
understand when you mean by how can you do something online, because I do breastfeeding consults online and people ask me the same thing. How can you do that online, or how can you do childbirth class online, or how, and the whole thing about I think anyone in allied health, because telemedicine got accepted very fast.
Yeah,
That didn't take as long, but I think for anyone working in allied health, there is a bit of a, I wouldn't want to say respect, but there is a bit of a difference how people look at mainstream medicine and anything allied health. I
yeah,
see that a lot in breastfeeding, so I know that exists. But
yeah.
and from what I've heard from a lot of my students, about 20 to 30% of my MBA students are physiotherapists who have come for an
Okay.
MBA now, which is why I thought you'll be really relevant for them as well. So, they've also faced the same thing where the respect factor is slightly different, and I think it's changing now. But have you faced that as well?
Yeah. Yes. When you were very young,
Hmm.
you try to fight for it,
Hmm.
and you want to educate this every person who comes across.
Yeah.
But I think slowly, gradually, with experience, and with, like, I'm sure I have seen like thousands of patients, and then you just understand that, everyone is not same. So you can't educate everyone. And ultimately, when you put it across to the patient that, like, I have given my advice, I
Yeah.
know this is right, but it's up to you to accept, it is up to you to respect. And they do come back.
Yeah.
They do come back and they do say that, yeah, actually 3 months back what you said was maybe right, I wasted time. You had a shoulder, let's start with shoulder pain. Okay, you had a shoulder pain, it was just a rotator cuff injury, you banged your foot against somewhere, there was some kind of inflammation, you decided to just take painkiller and ignore it. You had a physio friend, you spoke to her, she said no, no, you have to move or whatever. You just didn't care because you took painkillers and the pain is gone, and you think
Yeah.
that, okay, I'll not move, it will be better. But down the line you actually can develop frozen shoulder
Yep.
out of it. So it's unfair to say, but then who is suffering here,
Hmm.
isn't it? So
And
it's
it's also,
education.
sorry, but just adding on to that, like you said, there's so many things which going to a physiotherapist can help,
Yeah,
which you don't really, whether it's normal aches and pains, chronic back pain. Like, I know a lot of people who say, oh, I've got a chronic back pain, I'm going to a GP. But why don't you go to a physiotherapist, and then you could also do chiropractors. There's so many options you have available
yeah,
before you need to medicate it. But I think that gap has been a lot more before. I think it's slowing down a bit, definitely now.
Yeah, and then I think it is country wise as well, like because you and me both see, I think, quite a few patients in India. Now, I'm not trying to be judgmental here,
Yes.
but I do feel that there is a lack of awareness, a little bit lack of awareness in India, and less respect as well. And I don't keep put it to patients, because maybe we as physios have not spread enough awareness.
Yes.
That's
It's
why people
always a two-way
don't
street.
know. Yeah, yes, and we just need to learn these and just explore. And that's why I say we have to restructure our model about, like, rather than pushing on treating one-to-one patients, let's actually spread awareness. And that way you would anyways have patients.
Everyone benefits from it. The
Yeah,
clients benefit, the physios benefit, the industry, as in, when
yeah,
I'm looking at it from a business perspective, the whole industry grows when
yeah.
more people are aware of the benefits. Now, on that note, so, COVID's been extremely devastating for all of us, and you've started during COVID as well. Now, the thing that everyone's facing has been and also going to face is long COVID. So what I
Mhm.
wanted was your input on where does physiotherapy help uh, pre-COVID and especially for long COVID, because I can see that being a big challenge for the next probably, I don't know, a year or so at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
So, what would just your inputs on that?
Yeah, like physiotherapy is okay. Starting from the beginning, COVID, we all know that it affects our respiratory system, right? So physiotherapy plays a very important role in respiratory, and I have done my master's in cardiorespiratory. So we start our rehabilitation from ICU onwards. Okay, so in ICU, the sooner you mobilize a patient, that is, sooner you can get a patient out of their bed, better oxygen supply. Who does that? A physio.
Yeah.
The sooner you teach some lung expansion techniques, like just opening up your arms, you have better oxygen supply again. So that also is the role of a physiotherapist. So in COVID, definitely respiratory physiotherapists have played a very vital role, and that's in hospital and ICUs. Now, these patients, when they are discharged from the hospital, they are out in the community. In the community, you don't stay in the hospital till you have the best saturation. Now, all of us know about saturation probe
Yeah.
and all this. I'm
Everyone
not going.
knows now.
Yeah. So, like, you have to maintain this, that numbers and all. So, you discharge your patient either when they still have to be dependent on oxygen, or they are very, they have to continuously monitor their oxygen. So there again physiotherapy comes into play, in that step down rehabilitation we call it, and then community rehabilitation, where you empower them with breathing exercises, teach them about pacing, about how to monitor themselves, how to self monitor. Long COVID. Now, this was when we were initially only treating COVID. Then it was just, this is what, like, step down rehabilitation community done. But now with long COVID, these are like clusters of symptoms, aren't they? They are, you can, it not only respiratory, your musculoskeletal is getting affected. You are feeling fatigue, you're feeling joint pain, you have low mood, and it is very specific that, like, depressed, these are some of the symptoms that you are feeling, brain fog. So even neurological problems like pins and needles kind of sensations that you are feeling. So again, physiotherapy plays a very important role there, not only with rehabilitating your respiratory, but also your musculoskeletal, how to take you back to office. Now, before you go to work, we need to assess if you have enough functional capacity, we call, if you have enough muscle strength to actually sit on your desk the whole day, or if we send you to your office and you sit there 2 hours and you start having back pain.
Yeah.
So instead, if you have a proper rehabilitation for your long COVID symptoms with a physiotherapist, they will actually help you in going back to your office in a phased return way. So I think And in UK, actually, they are running a lot of long COVID rehabilitation programs. And in India also, they are running few. And we do provide some services as well. Again, we recently did a workshop as well on restore, how you go back to your pre-COVID status. So answer to your question, it definitely plays a very vital role.
Thank you. That makes it a lot more clearer because people generally talk in very generic statements. Oh, physiotherapy is good, but it's helpful to know where, how, and how it works. That's why I
Yeah.
wanted you to detail that out. And last question, Meg, is because, like I said, a lot of my students who follow me are physiotherapists and they have come to do an MBA, which means they also, of course, want to become entrepreneurial, they want to set up their own centers. So, as someone who's already done it, what would be few tips that you could give them? Something maybe you wish you'd known before you started, or anything like that.
I think the best one would be not before started. This is something that every physio, when they want to start a business or when you start your first patient as well, you always have to be honest. You have to keep learning. Okay, so the more you learn, because the better treatment you can give, we know that. And sometimes we know that I see these ads on Facebook or Instagram where you have sponsored ads where you say this is how are the tips to increase your business or whatsoever. But I think the best thing to increase your business is to be honest and educate your patients and get them off your list, which means treat them with minimum number of quality sessions, educate them, make them, empower them to take control so that they know what they have to do, and give them an after plan as well. Like, I think when we spoke with you last, I said that do these things. If you get the symptoms again, do it again. After that, only come to me. Otherwise, don't come to me. So when your physio is saying to you like that, your patient will automatically develop that trust on you. That yeah, I can go to her because she's very honest and she doesn't like seeing me all the time.
No,
Okay.
I get your point because it's a lot in business terms, I would call that as customer relationship building, where
Yeah.
you build a good relationship with them and they trust you, which also then means they will refer you. So the benefits of that are very,
Mm-hmm.
very wide.
Word of mouth.
So, word of mouth, exactly. So brilliant. And just one more thing, if anyone wants to find you, where can they find you in terms of ephysios? What are your Instagram handles? Do you have a website? Just those.
Yeah, it's just ephysios.com. Very easy. We were lucky to find that. Just go and type ephysios.com. We would be there. And from there, you have links to our Instagram and Facebook as well.
Perfect. If I remember right, you also have a Facebook community group, right? Where
Yes, we do. And that community group is only for awareness. We don't do any ads or any push marketing wise. It's just awareness and everybody can contribute and participate in that. Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much. This has been really good, and I have kept my time. So thank you, and I hope to have you back again for maybe another session sometime.
Perfect. Thank you for inviting me. It's always great to chat to you. And I hope some physios can definitely pick up some tips that I have given. Thank you.
Definitely. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.